But first, from Fox at 3 o'clock in New York, lawyers for an accused teacher, or I should say, a teacher accused of having sex with her students. Those lawyers say that the students were actually taking advantage of her. Defense attorneys claim she's mentally ill with multiple personalities and that the boys knew their teacher was, quote, vulnerable and impaired. But prosecution witnesses testified yesterday the teacher put together that whole defense before the cops ever arrested her. Prosecutors in Ohio have charged 33-year-old Stacy Schuler with 16 counts of sexual battery. Her former students, including several former football players, say she brought them home, gave them drugs, plowed them with alcohol, gave them massages, then took turns having the crazy with her.
Since we had all the oil on our back, that's what led to us getting in the bubble bath.
Oh, my. Some of the testimony is way too graphic for these purposes. The former gym teacher has pleaded not guilty by reason of insanity. Her lawyers say she doesn't even remember having sex with the boys, which must make the boys feel terrific. Rick Leventhal is with us now with details on this. What's the strategy been here?
Shepard, they're trying to paint a different picture of her today, defense attorneys are, as a good person with major problems, saying that she took Zoloft for depression and combined with alcohol led to abhorrent behavior and memory loss. Basically, the drugs made her do it. The defense also calling former students who sang Schuler's praises today, saying she was very well liked, made the kids feel comfortable. They could tell her anything with no judgment and no scolding. But police and prosecutors say Schuler used her popularity to lure boys back to her home, providing them with beer and pot and sex on multiple occasions. And one former female student testified off camera. The teacher told her she hatched a plan to plead insanity to beat the rap.
She is not my friend, and when I opened up and accepted the truth of what happened, it became very clear to me that I do not need to defend and sugarcoat what this person did.
And testimony is continuing this afternoon, Shepard.
All right. I guess this teacher or former teacher's mom took the stand?
Yeah, they called her mother.
Fascinating.
They called her mother to the stand to ask her what she was like as a kid. And she said how she loved animals, and she sang in the church choir, and she got along well with others. It's a very different testimony from yesterday's court action when her alleged victims testified in graphic detail about what allegedly went on inside Schuler's home, including Friday night sleepovers before Saturday football practice. Her lawyer says Schuler may actually be the victim in this case, though.
It's clear that Stacy was vulnerable and impaired. Young men, being athletes, young men in this case, saw an opportunity and thought nothing of having sex with a woman who was impaired on many different levels.
Schuler opted out of a jury trial, so a judge will decide her fate. She faces up to 5 years in prison on each of those 16 counts.
Rick Leventhal, thank you. The lawyers are here, Arthur Aidala and Randy Zellin. She was taken advantage of. She, the school teacher, by the 17-year-old boys who just didn't think twice. Of course they didn't think twice about having sex with her. 17-year-old boys don't think twice about having sex, period. They do it as much as they can.
Between my career as a prosecutor and defense attorney, I don't know how many thousands of cases I've been around. Shepard, never have I heard of the insanity defense under these circumstances. I mean, usually you only employ the insanity defense for a homicide because if you're found mentally unstable, you don't go home. You go to a mental institution. And, I mean, God bless the defense attorney. This is a novel defense. She's taken advantage of. She's basically twice their age. Presumably, they're 16, 17 years old. She's 30. She's twice their age, and she's not having sex with one of them, but several of them at the same time.
What's the age of consent?
Usually it's 16 years old.
All right. So, well, then they were old enough.
Well, maybe if they are 16-year-old, maybe they're 15 years old. There's also a abuse of her discretion, abuse of her authority. She's going down. Smart move to go with a judge and not a jury, because a jury would be so emotionally involved they'd destroy her.
You know, I'm guessing the guys are upset that she's claiming she was insane to have sex with him.
Well, certainly it's a little bit insulting, but if we inject some seriousness into this case, because there is a woman whose life is on the line and she's facing jail.
She's sleeping with her students.
And I guess for that reason alone, you could say she must be insane not to know that you can't do that kind of thing.
Randy, a lot of teachers, we've covered a bunch of these cases.
5 of them?
It's been going on for a while.
But we've covered a lot. There's the famous girl on the motorcycle, the blonde teacher, who then violated probation with a student a second time.
When you have what's called a strict liability crime, meaning that intent, consent doesn't mean anything, she's got no place else to go but to say, I didn't understand that what I was doing was wrong. She's got one ace up her sleeve, though.
How bad could this be for her? What is she facing?
5 years in prison on each of the 16 counts. Shepard, one of the boys in a
What? Now go on.
One of the boys in a group setting said he felt uncomfortable and he left to watch Finding Nemo while it went on.
Which is a killer for the defense. I mean, that's how mature he is. He went to go watch Finding Nemo. She's got two shots here. One, she went with the judge. I disagree with you. She was insane to go with the judge. She should have gone with the jury and hoped that there'd be one juror who would say, come on, are you kidding me? This is a crime. The other thing, that girl that just testified never came forward in a timely manner and said, oh, by the way, this is what was going on. Suddenly now she comes out. It's all the woman's got. There ain't a lot to go with here.
The insanity defense. And I don't know this.
Deborah LaFave had a child with one of hers, didn't she?
Yes. Yeah, is that? Yes.
It's Florida, though.
She's saying basically that the drugs and the alcohol mixed together, Zoloft and alcohol, made her so out of sorts that she thought it was cool to have sex with
And the devil. Don't forget the devil.
But the fact that she doesn't remember is a competency issue. That's not an insanity issue.
She says she doesn't remember,
she can't help her defense.
She says she doesn't remember. Randy.
Well, they say that they had sex.
And Arthur.
And with hot oils in a bathtub.
Yeah, there were hot oils. There are always hot oils, aren't there? Thank you.